Welcome to Barnstable Today. I'm Nick Cortez. It was a marathon session for the town council this past Thursday night as councilors spent over 4.5 hours making their way through much of the capital project appropriation requests for fiscal year 2012. The requests approved by the council will comprise the list of projects that you'll be seeing done around town in the coming fiscal year to improve our roadways, our schools, our waterways, and more. Due to the huge amount of material covered during the meeting, we'll be bringing you the highlights in two parts. Today, in part one, we'll first take a look at Town Manager John Klim's introduction to the capital budget. Here, the manager gives a good overview of his administration's recommendations on where the money should be spent and discusses in more detail some of the most significant features of the proposed capital budget.
Having reviewed the scoring of projects by both initially the senior staff and then thereafter our Comprehensive Financial Advisory Committee and the project recommendations of the latter, I am recommending that the Town Council approve a total of $10,747,000 in capital projects for fiscal year 2012, $2,992,000 for enterprise accounts, and $7,755,000 for the general fund program. Funding for the program is comprised of $3,275,000 of our capital trust fund reserves, $525,125 of enterprise fund reserves, $1,116,875 of grants, and $5,830,000 in new bond authorizations. The Public Works Department continues to report a need for the $3.25 million annually to repair and preserve the town's public roadway system. As I indicated in the capital plans for the past 3 years, I cannot in good conscience allow an asset as vital as our public roads to deteriorate to the point where failure will occur. Therefore, I am continuing a program of dedicating a significant cash amount annually to public roads. For fiscal year 2012, I am recommending to the Town Council that they approve repair work in the amount of $3,250,000. There also is a slight modification this year because of the significant environment that exists in terms of work on public building. We have incorporated a modified 2-year plan specifically as it relates to some of our repair to public buildings. The projects that will be before you tonight, if you happen to have your budget book handy on page 2, are those that I consider to be most important, all of which need to be moved ahead in our opinion now. A total of $4,480,000 is recommended in new bonding authorizations for projects funded with the bond proceeds will benefit from the current competitive bid market. Additionally, the current low borrowing rates will allow the town to finance these projects at a lower cost, realizing more savings for the town. While it won't be immediate and dramatic, all indications are that the municipal bond market will experience rate increases over the next 12 months. Increasing the fiscal year 12 borrowing authorizations will allow the town to capture more savings. Finally, we will continue to maintain a reserve in the capital trust fund that will allow the town to address an immediate capital need should one arise in the next fiscal year, or if matching funds are needed for grant opportunities. The recommended projects for the general fund are in the general area as follows. As I mentioned, public roads to the tune of $3,250,000, a Long Pond, Centerville, and Mystic Lake hydrilla project, the Mill Pond dredging in Wequacket Lake, sediment sampling and mapping, traffic calming and sidewalks, dredging projects in East Bay to the entrance and also the channel, and also Blish Point, a boat ramp, an emergency generator at our Civil Preparedness Center, which is our police department, Prince Cove and Haywood Road improvements to boat ramps, and a variety of municipal and school facility upgrades and repairs. That's for the general fund. Additionally, in terms of enterprise fund requests that are before you, they are a variety of requests from the airport, from our marinas. We are asking that the 2 water-related issues be postponed till the next meeting, and also wastewater as well.
After the manager's overview, Finance Director Mark Milne gave an explanation of the sources of funding that the town draws on to pay for capital projects. He also gave an assessment of the town's overall financial health.
The Capital Trust Fund. This is the main vehicle we use to finance our capital program for the general fund. It acts like a debt service fund, and it also has a cash component built into it. We deposit $6,725,000 a year into this fund, and then we withdraw money every year to pay for loan payments on previously authorized bonded projects, as well as the cash financed portion of the capital program. The orange line on that graph represents the anticipated deposits over the next 5-year period. We have a high deposit anticipated for fiscal year 12 as we're taking some extra general fund reserves that we have, and we're going to add that to the $6.75 million to build the fund balance up in this fund. And then the blue line represents the withdrawals for the next anticipated over the next 5 years. The withdrawals exceed the deposits over the next 5 years, and that's been always anticipated as we use up some of the reserves in this fund balance so that we can continue with an aggressive capital program. The fund balance remaining is represented by the green line. You can see the fund balance falls from $7 million down to $4 million in fiscal year 13, and then it starts to grow again. The types of bonds. This is what we use for financing our capital program. General obligation bonds are pledged. The collateral for these bonds are the property taxes for the town. If it's properly structured, that bond is tax exempt, and that tax exempt feature attracts investors to our bonds. And they're willing to accept a lower interest rate on their investment, which correlates into a lower interest rate for us, the borrower, on those bonds. The other type of vehicle that could be used is a revenue bond. This is where a specific revenue stream is pledged as opposed to property taxes. The collateral is not as strong as property taxes, therefore the interest rates often carry higher charges than a general obligation bond, and we really have no authority to issue these in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts without special legislation. This is what we're looking at for 2011 for a bond issue. We're working right now on an issue of about $11.4 million, which is comprised of about $6.6 million from previously authorized projects by the Town Council, and what's before you tonight totaling about $4.78 million. We also anticipate issuing some more bonds for the Mass Water Pollution Abatement Trust in the next few months of about $2.7 million, all related to the Water Enterprise Fund under the the Drinking Water Program through the Mass Water Pollution Abatement Trust. $1.67 million of this was previously authorized, and another $1 million is before you tonight, or actually May 5th now, I believe. This bond issue of $11.4 million, this gives you the breakdown of the types of projects that are included in it. It's over 20 projects. We've accumulated these projects because it's more cost effective to roll all of your bond authorizations into one large bond issue. It saves us money by not having to go out bonding frequently throughout the fiscal year. We try to do a major bond issue every other year. Credit rating. As part of this bond issue coming up, we're going to have another evaluation performed by Standard & Poor's. Our current rating is AAA. We anticipate to have this meeting with Standard & Poor's in late May. We don't anticipate any changes in the bond rating. We think we'll be able to maintain the AAA rating.
Coming up tomorrow on Barnstable Today, we'll show you more of the FY 2012 capital budget hearings, including a breakdown of repairs and upgrades planned for Barnstable Public Schools. Right now, though, let's take a look at this week's meetings. Well, that's all for now. Make sure you join us tomorrow for part 2 of the FY 2012 capital budget hearings. Until then, I'm Nick Cortez, and we'll see you next time on Barnstable Today.